Some people would think you're crazy going hiking. They're like, okay, what are you going to do? Well, we're going to walk for 4 hours, get up somewhere, have a snack and a picture, and come back. So, and
Hey Saito, what's up? Welcome back to the Sensei Says podcast. I hope you are doing amazing. I am on fire and I am Sensei Pascal back inside my Saint-Julie, Quebec, Canada podcast dojo. If this is for you your first experience in this podcast, let me remind you our goal here at the SSP. I discuss weekly with successful / inspirational personalities. We exchange on their expertise and dig out some actionable advice that will improve our lives. Thank you for choosing the podcast today, and this week an amazing interview I've got for you. I had the chance to meet with Samuel Campeau. He's a hiking guide at the Banff Hiking Company in Banff, Alberta, obviously in the midst of the Canadian Rockies. Met him on Banff Avenue. So if you're listening on the Apple Podcast machine, on Spotify, on Stitcher, on Google Podcasts, whatever, please take a minute to go on YouTube, on our channel, youtube.com/Sensei Says Podcast, because you're going to have the Cascade Mountain in the background. In addition to the amazing scenery of this interview, Samuel will offer you what he thinks are the 3 main benefits of hiking. And if you like the conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, share to a friend. And we're traveling to Banff right now.
3 years ago, I was standing right here looking at that mountain, and about 12 hours ago, I was on that mountain looking down on this street. Man, life is amazing. Samuel, I'm so glad that I get to meet you today, fellow French Canadian. You've moved in this area. You're a hiker per excellence. So maybe tell me a bit about your story that got you from Blainville,
exactly.
Quebec.
Well, first of all, thanks for taking me on this podcast. This
My honor.
Receiving me there in my town. I can say now I've been living here for 12 years on and off.
Wow.
And just funny you say that you've been looking at Cascade Mountain when you first got here, because that's exactly what I did.
You did that too?
Yeah, when I was back in Quebec and I decided to move somewhere, and Banff came in the picture. I looked online, I saw Cascade Mountain. And then when I came here and saw it for myself, where it's massive, it's huge, I wanted to go on top there. And that's pretty much how I got into hiking in the area. So that's pretty much how my story started of getting involved into hiking.
But you're telling me that you started hiking like with that?
Yeah,
you had never hiked before?
Well, I've never hiked before, and I've done a couple. I've done a couple of mountains. Tulla Mountain. That's just on the side, and Sulphur Mountain. That actually, these are the first mountains I did. It was winter time when I came here, so you can only do a few walking up, right? There's a little trail, and people do it, and it's well used for you to use it with some cleats. But then that came in the picture in the summertime, and I aimed at the big mountains all around, and I've done quite a few of them.
How many of them do you think you've done in 12 years?
I know I've done at least 10, 100 ascents. In terms of mountains, different, I'll have to look, but I've done a lot of mountains.
Because this is a paradise for all hikers or just mountain lovers. Myself, that's what got me here. I started hiking in Quebec because of my participation in Spartan Racing OCR.
Yeah.
When I did my first race, I'd never run in my life, so I started running. But when I did my first Spartan race, I found out that the 5K was actually on Mount Tremblant, on the mountain. I almost died up there, so I just started training with hiking if I wanted to survive the other races. That's how I discovered hiking. Fell in love with mountaineering / hiking. I think that it's one of the most rewarding workouts out there. And we've got a huge bus coming in right now. I think we're going to move just a bit.
Car! Game on! Game on!
Welcome to Banff.
There you go. We were just stopped by a bus. We should have done the Wayne's World line. Pause. Go again. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, first, you're making me feel old. And second of all, please watch Wayne's World. So you got here 12 years ago. Yeah. How did you start your company? Because you started, I'm guessing, from nothing.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny. I mean, we'll talk about the company. First, let's take back 12 years, right?
Yeah, sure.
The company just started this year on my own. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. So it's been 12 years in between. But yeah, when I first here, like I said before, you know, I started go up the peaks. And, you know, working in Banff, a lot of people come from around the world. It's just, you meet a lot of people from different countries. They come here to work, usually young people. You know, when I came here, I was 21 or 22. And then, you know, a lot of companies would have staff accommodation for people to live. And so you would share the same, you know, area, even the same room with someone else. Then you get to meet a lot of people. It's a big party town as well. So a lot of things going on. But also, you know, for me, you know, with going up the mountains becoming a passion, I kind of became the reference within the people around. They're like, oh, I want to do a hike. What should I do? And I'd be like, yeah, come with me. I'll take you somewhere. And I started doing that, you know, obviously not professionally. It was just very much leisure at the time. And then, yeah, I kept doing that. And at some point I discovered, yeah, you know what? That's what I like to do. I like to become a guide. So I guess that became a little later in life. So it's been 6 years now that I'm, you know, a professional hiking guide. And I've worked with different companies, really good companies that you know, I got started off with. Did a lot of hiking, took a lot of different groups and people up on hikes. And you know what? I thought it was time for me to start my own. So I decided to start my own because I don't know, I wanted to do things my way. You know, and I like to do personalized trips as well with you know, families, groups of people, which that's what I like to do.
Game on! Game on!
So that's why Samuel is the best guide around, because second time we've been paused by a bus. Obviously, you saw that, and then he went. There's another side to the road where it's absolutely 100% closed to circulation, and maybe we should go there. And I went, yeah, should have thought of that.
That's the path we should follow.
Yeah, that's why he's a guide. He's the best one. So he can lead you up a mountain and also on the right side of a road when you get to do an interview. What got you your passion for hiking?
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe let's start up as a kid. You know, we would have a lake house. You know, I would just walk in the woods. I would just really always love nature, and the mountains is the connection to that, right? Like, you go out there. I mean, to get up to the peak of the mountain, you have to go through a lot, right? I mean, you've just done it. You know how long it is. You have to go through. You know, you start on the bottom of the valley and you make it all the way to the Alpine, and the journey to make it up there, it's really fulfilling in many different ways. So I think the whole experience, not even going to the mountains, but sharing it with friends, everything, like everything you see, what you feel, you know, you might get caught in a storm, in a storm or something, and the whole journey is what really got me into doing this. Like,
it's a whole bunch of romanticism when it comes to hiking. Because I think it's the same elements that we share as hikers or nature lovers. Is the contact with the emptiness, with the stronger than you are. You feel like so ephemeral, surrounded by a world of eternity. Like that mountain was long, and was there long before I was born, and it's going to be there long after I'm gone.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's humbling, and it's to put yourself in a situation where you're not in control anymore, and you have to respect the mountain. If you don't use humility, if you feel too egocentrical, or I'm going to dominate the mountain, that never happens. And in any lifetime, that doesn't happen. The mountain always wins. And I know that there's been a few accidents up there, and it's usually from hikers or mountaineers that feel they found a shortcut. They don't respect the mountain, and unfortunately accidents happen. So I think it takes us back to our human nature, in a sense.
It does. And yeah, for me, it's always been a full experience of, if I go by on my own, or even when I go with people, you would just zone out by the time you just walk, but you don't even realize what are you thinking or what's going on, but there's a lot of processing happening in your head. Like you can think of anything, and it doesn't matter. You're not in contact with this. I mean, look at us here on Banff Avenue. It's amazing town. It's an amazing town here, Banff. I love it. It's busy, but that's the thing. And I mean, everywhere you are in the world, and every cities, you have this kind of fast pace life, and stressful life, and material life in a way. And I think when you go out to the mountains, none of that matters. And that's what really fulfills me, I think.
Have you ever had some misadventures on the mountain? Obviously, it's never fatal misadventures because we're both here talking about them. So while we're experiencing the misadventure, we're not feeling good at all. But it always makes for good stories afterwards. So any of them in your resume? Well,
the good thing is that professionally, no. But
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
on a personal level, oh yeah, of course. The first years of me being here, going up the mountains, I was still learning. I'm still learning anyways. It's not like, like going, starting a hike too late, coming back in the dark, not having the proper gear or the proper equipment. All of that, right? Like, there's some times where it took us like maybe 14 hours to go up and down a mountain where it should have taken us 10 maybe. A lot of that, a lot of them, but nothing too crazy. And it's always been a good experience because you remember these, right? Like, the day you go up and it's a bluebird sky day, it's great. The views are amazing. Will you remember that day? Yes. But do you remember the day where you're stuck in a storm and, like everyone was cold and, you forgot food or something? You remember these times, right? So I remember a lot of them.
It's a huge source, I think, of growth and experience because you have to learn from your mistakes and you improve on your hiking skills, and then your experiences become maybe gradually better. But then you're gonna do some maybe more advanced errors, like maybe a certain gear, maybe a specific gear, time of day, not acknowledging the right winds, like something that will make you learn again and make you become a better mountaineer. But obviously we're here, we're alive, we all survived these experiences, but at the time of them, we're not feeling good at all. I remember like we were talking about humility. The first time I went I was here in the Rockies, on my bucket list, I wanted to summit at least one mountain, but I came in like at the end of fall. So I called.
There's snow up there.
Yeah, there is snow.
And ice. And
what I've learned through that experience is that in the Rockies, it's always one more season up there. If it's summer here, it's fall up there. If it's fall here, it's winter up there, and if it's winter up there, you don't want to go there. But I wanted to go there, so I called right here at the visitor info booth, and I asked the guy. I wanted to really do Cascade Mountain, and he told me like the trail's closed, man. And professionally, I got to tell you, if you attempt that, you're going to die, man. So don't do that. But I insisted, and he said, look, professionally, I'm not telling you anything. But in Canmore, you might find a mountain with less snow on top, which was Grotto Mountain.
Oh yeah.
So I went, all right, I'm gonna do that. And I obviously had never hiked in the Rockies, and even less so in snowy conditions.
And a steep mountain.
It's a steep one. It's a steep one, and you get to the top and you don't see the curtains anymore. And you don't see where you're going anymore, because and it was even like cloudy. We have sun now, so you see on the ground, you see contrast of lights, so you can guess the elevation, the inclination of the slope, and make your way maybe a little more safer. But it was just gray, so everything has the same shade of white, and I was just progressing on my way, because you have to stay on Grotto Mountain. If you see maybe on Google or the blogs or anything, you have to walk like on the edge of the mountain. It's a long edge before you get to the actual summit.
Yeah, to the ridge. You just follow the ridge. And these mountains in Canmore are great because they're mainly south-facing, so they get a lot of sun throughout the day, and then the wind, coming often from the southwest here just blows the snow off it. So that's why they're a bit more accessible, not all year round, but I mean, some people will do them all year round, but at least for an extended season if you want to hike.
Yeah, I almost died up there. I got caught like on the slope, my loose rocks, so you don't see them, right? Because you've got snow up there, and I just started sliding, no control whatsoever, and my slide ended like 10 or 15 feet away from a huge drop off. So man, your life flashes before your eyes, and you're telling yourself, no, it's not today, I'm not going to die today, and you're trying to recollect yourself and try to warm your hands a bit, and you still finish the hike, and then you come back and you got a story to tell on the podcast. But
there we go.
Okay, but kids, when someone as professional as Sam or the people here at Banff tell you not to go hiking, please do not go
Listen to them.
Yeah, go to the Sephora shop or buy yourself a gift or something like that. Don't go hiking. What would be the 3 main benefits you got as a human being while hiking? Because we were talking about the romantic aspect of that, and it's much parallel to what we're trying to find out here.
Yeah, no, I think the first one would be mental health. You know, I mean, in these days in the world we live in, I think it's right on this, you know, in the it's actual, right? Like, mental health, definitely. You know what? Because we're consumed by all these phones and podcasts now. But
and weird logos with a snake and some kind of a Spartan hat.
You know, all of that, right? In a world where now we use our phones most of the day, and we're so connected with. We think we're connected with people, but I mean, how much are we really connected to them? What I know is when I go out there, I'm really connecting with nature because it's surrounding me and in a peaceful way. You know, there's nothing forced upon me, or
You know, I get what you mean. It's absolutely that. In giving ourselves just the very seldom opportunity to be with ourselves or with people that we love without all of this system that requires all of your attention and your consumerism, and take out your wallet and take a selfie and post it on IG.
Yeah.
The best thing that can happen on a hike is that you get no signal.
Yeah, exactly. And most of the times you do here. You don't get signal out here, right? But yeah, definitely. I would say mental health.
Second one would be what?
Well, second one would be physical health, right? Like, I mean, it's good. It's good for you. You don't use as much of your body, I would say, like you would do on, in different sports when you use your upper body. I mean, hiking is a lot about the legs, right? And going up. Even though you use your sticks, use all your body, you're carrying your backpack, and there's you control your balance going up. So I guess your whole body works out, but a lot of walking involved, right? Like, and I feel like, when you get that pace, you can go for miles and miles, and it's just good, right? If you find the right pace, you could do, we would go on a day hike here, we go for 20 kilometers or so, or 20 kilometers or less, and it's really good physically. Like, it feels amazing.
And to me, I think it's the most rewarding workout ever, because you actually get a reward. If you want to get that view from that peak and see like the minuscule people here in Banff, you got to earn it. You got to go up there. You actually have to finish the mountain. Nobody's going to give you that view. You got to earn it. So yeah, it's hard while you're hiking up. You're using all of your leg power and your mental strength as well. But when you get on top, it's not like a CrossFit. Training is also rewarding in a sense, or training at spartanfit.ca is also rewarding. But what I mean by that is that when you finish the first leg of your workout, which is climbing up, you actually get that amazing reward, which is the view, the panorama, and you get to enjoy it, and it's yours.
It's true.
Nobody gave that to you. You earned that 100%.
Yeah, and also, and there's that, and also with times I've learned as well that the journey imports a little more, and that's where, like, on my personal level, and guiding was a bit of it differed a little bit. Like at first, what I wanted to do is go up the peaks as fast as I could. I was like, I'm going to go up there, and I ran down the mountain to make sure I made the time, right? And it felt amazing at the time, and it's still amazing to push, right? But then you start guiding, you get people from different levels, right? And people that have never hiked before, people that have hiked a little bit, people that go fast, people that go very slow, and you just adapt to that pace, and then you realize, I don't have to go fast, because at the end we're going, the objective is the same. Mm-hmm. But the journey is different, right? With different people. You'll get like people that want to train, but a lot of people along the way, we chat, we look at flowers, the trees, we look at, there's different views along the way, and then we share culture, we share a lot of different things. And so as much as the view imports, which I love it, obviously, everywhere we go, we set an objective at first. So if we get to that objective, it's amazing to reach. At the same time, the journey needs to be great. So you have to get a good balance in between.
Do you think that would be your third piece of advice or thing that hiking brought to you? Like the journey is much more important, like the walk itself, much more important than the actual summit.
Yeah, because it's like, you start and you get to the summit, but there's a whole thing in between. Because some people would think you're crazy going hiking. They're like, okay, what are you going to do? Well, we're going to walk for 4 hours, get up somewhere, have a snack and a picture, and come back. So, and they're like, what's fun in there? Like walking up and then coming down. Is that what you mean? You're going to suffer up and then walk down? Yeah, right. So
have a snack.
So that's why everything else in between is important, and especially when you share it with someone. So some people would find very good. I've done it a lot solo where I go up there, but I've always enjoyed it a bit more when I share. But that's maybe a personal thought.
No, I think it's really relevant, and it's the same thing as well for many hikers or mountaineers that are looking at this or listening to this on the Apple Podcasts and Spotify and whatever. And for me personally, it's the same thing. And it's so funny that we talk about that, because yesterday a similar experience happened to me, because I usually do my things solo. It's my way to mentally replenish after a 70 plus 80 plus hour week as an entrepreneur. We need that moment alone, especially when you work with people. Like if you're a fitness coach, if you've got a business which implies being social, a lot of the times you have to find just that half day or just that day that you can be with yourself. And like you said, so many processes are going on in there. You're not actually working, but you're actually working.
Yes.
And just to stop and enjoy, like you said, a simple flower, a simple view, to let yourself be impressed by your surroundings. That's the solo part. But what I found out yesterday, when you open yourself up to meeting people, you never see a grumpy person on a mountain.
That's right.
I've never seen, in all of my years hiking, I've never seen anyone go up a mountain like this. Never seen that in my life. Everyone's happy. You've got a contact with nature. They're open to discussions. You meet a lot of people from all over the world. And when you get up there, everyone's happy about making the summit.
Right.
So you get to meet a lot of cool people, like-minded people. And I think, like you said, you can open yourself up to not only the view, but the treasure becomes the treasure of the others, what they can offer you as in the discussion, like you said, in exchange.
True. I'm just coming back from 4 days, 3 nights backpack with 3 clients, amazing guys from Ontario, and every time you stop in in a campsite, right, for the night, you meet a lot of other people. There's other people there, and everyone's sharing their little stories. They're from somewhere else. They've been hiking to certain places. It's always good. Like there's a good vibe around it. Like everyone's happy. Why? Because they're getting all this cool, the cool features. They've been hiking all day. They're happy mentally, and maybe not always physically. It hurts sometimes, right? Like you're tired, your body's tired, but I think mentally you are good. So I think when you're good mentally, everything else follows. But
also, it's a very good, potent way to train your resilience. Like if you're a Spartan racer, an OCR runner, someone who runs marathon, you need that resilience. And if you develop that physical resilience, which becomes obviously automatically mental resilience, because it's not the body. The body can go much further than you think it can. It's your brain. It's your brain who's yelling you to stop, who's yelling you to quit, who's telling you, I'm tired, I want to go home, I want to go on Facebook and play with my video games. So as you hike, when you're up like 3/4 of the way up, you don't have a choice but be mentally resilient, because you either do the quarter that's left before you get to the summit, or if you quit, you still have to go 3/4 of the way back.
Yeah, you can't stay up there.
Yeah, you can't teleport yourself like beep, beep. This is like Star Trek. So I think it's a really good way to develop your mental resilience as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So people that want to have a crazy time up the mountains, how can they reach you, Sam, here?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So obviously I do a lot of things. So we're talking about mountains, but often we do day hikes, around some lakes or up in the area. There's so much to see here in the Rockies. I mean, it's infinite. There's different national parks, provincial parks around. We can access easily, by car. So they can reach me at BanffHikingCompany.com. So they just look me up online, and I'm on different social media as well. Obviously, Instagram, Facebook. Gotta be these days, even though it's not as easy as it seems for me to discover that. But yeah, that's how they can reach me.
Next time we gotta do a mountain together, man.
I know. Well, when are you coming back next?
Do you need anyone to just answer the phone?
Yeah.
Or do a podcast?
Yeah. Call me.
And that, kids, is how you recover from interruptions during your interviews. You just slide in some Wayne's World references and you're all set to go. Everything is forgotten and the world is a better place. And I really hope you liked the game on. I really like that. And if you don't get the reference, first off, how dare you? Because you're making me feel old. And second of all, try to find the movies and watch them. Please trust me on that. Wayne's World, party time. Excellent. All right, I have to stop. My hair is all messed up. So Samuel, huge thanks for taking the time to talk with me in Banff. Had an amazing time. And for those of you who are planning on visiting the Rockies, don't forget to hook Samuel up for a guided hike at BanffHikingCompany.com. But for now, we will revisit what we've learned from Samuel today. So the key benefits that you'll get as an individual through hiking. Number one, better mental health. I think we're going to be all in agreement here. The immediate availability to tech, to information is one of the prime causes of anxiety, of stress, because you're always looking. It's like an addiction, right? You're addicted to tech because your mind knows that there's something going on. There's information to feed on. So to engage in an activity like hiking, oftentimes you'll get in parts of the world where there's no signal whatsoever, and that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. An activity where you have to engage long-term in the accomplishment of your objective. So it allows you to disconnect from the virtual reality, the ones and the zeros, the binary codes that your brain feeds on daily, and really connect with your human nature. And if you haven't done that in quite a while, please just try it. Let's do something super simple. Tonight, if you've got clear skies, just look up. Look at the stars. And notice the soothing feeling you're going to experience. That is the real disconnect from tech, the disconnect from your everyday hustle, and the real connection to the environment, to the universe. The outdoors are your keys to reconnect with your true human nature. Number two, physical health. Hiking is an amazing workout. Like I said in the interview, to my sense, it's the most rewarding workout in all of the world, because you actually get a reward, which is the panorama, the scenery, the experience, the fear, the awe of all those views that you get while hiking up a mountain. And it's adaptable to all levels. That's what's cool about it. And it's also a really good tool to develop both your physical endurance and your mental endurance, because you know you're in it for the long run. Like we said in the interview, if you get tired 3/4 of the way up, you've got two choices. You either continue and finish the quarter that's missing, enjoy the summit, and hike down. The other choice you've got is still doing 3/4 of the way back down. So there's no easy way out. There's no teleportation. You have to go through the struggle, the difficulties. If you're tired, the mountains don't care if you're tired. You still have to go on, take care of your safety, be focused on the path you're walking through. All of these elements combine, and that's why I love hiking in mountains so much. It's so complete as an experience, as a prime source of physical activity, of your physical health, performance improvement. Hiking, double thumbs up from the Sensei. Number 3, the journey imports. Wise words from Samuel, which were also correlated by Mark Pattison. He's a former NFL player turned mountaineer. He just climbed Mount Everest, did the whole 7 summit challenge, so summiting the highest summit in each continent. And we had the honor to speak with Mark on, I think it's episode number 3 in the archive, so look it up. But back to Samuel, I also agree the journey imports. It's not actually the summit. The summit could be seen as the carrot in front of your face, just the motivation to keep on going. But each and every hike I did, I met really awesome people. And you meet people from all over the world, and it's people that are like-minded. That's what's cool about it. I've never had a bad experience talking with people on mountains. As a matter of fact, I've made friends throughout my hikes. So I really hope the same experiences happen to you. Now, if you feel inspired by all the advice that we give on the podcast, maybe it's going a little too fast, no problem. We've got a solution for you. Video description is where you're going to find all of the advice we've spoken about today, even a summary of the discussion we have with our guests. It's either video description on YouTube, on our website, senseisayspodcast.com, or in the episode summary on all of the audio platforms. Now your turn. Talk to me, Saito. Talk to me. Give it to me. I'd like to know, what are your best hiking experiences? What have you learned from hiking? Leave it in the comments. Reach me on my social media at Sensei Says Pod, or my personal Twitter at Sensei Pascal. Love to read what you have to say. If you've liked this week's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, share to a friend. Maybe you know a fellow hiker who would like to know about this episode. Share that to him or her. If you want to receive the episodes fast and first, always sign up to the free newsletter, senseisays.link/sign up. You feel the need for inspiration? Go nuts through our archives. We've got a good selection of amazing guests for you. And on that note, Saitos, I'm gonna grab my hiking pole. You are dismissed. Us. Thank you for watching or listening. I'll see you next week.
There's always somebody who just shows up. And in life, you can't just show up, and ultimately it catches up with you. And the mountains are not forgiving. And so we've had guys fall in crevasses. We've guys had fall down mountains.
I went to Iraq. Everyone I told, they're like, oh, Iraq must be super dangerous. No, it was actually really chill, and loved it. In reality, things are a little bit more nuanced. So I think it's good to go and see for yourself.